Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, all the Igbo youths. I greet you today. The person you are hearing his voice is Comrade Igbo O Igbo. I'm the National President of Ohanaeze Youth Council. On the state of Igbo Nation, Ohanaeze Youth Council, we have what we call the 7-point economic agenda. Of course, we believe that what Igbo should pursue at this time is economic emancipation. It is very, very important. It's very, very sacrosanct for our survival. And I think we have discovered that within Igbo that we don't have a functional seaport. So, and the issue today is that within Igbo, we discovered that we have one of the closest potential seaports in this country is located in Igbo land, in Ihiala here, local government of Anambra State, in a small community known as Osokwa community, and also linked to Osemoto in Uguta local government of Imo State. And it is only 18 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean, and that river is the most the deepest potential seaport we have in this country, discovered early 1958, and it was abandoned. And today there is no way we can talk about economic development of Igbo without discussing about seaports. And the location of that seaport is strategically located from that Osokwa to Nnewi is just about 25 or 30 minutes drive. And from that place, if you want to locate Owerri, Imo State, it is just about 45 minutes drive. From that place to Asaba, it's not more than 50 minutes drive. So you can see the location of this potential seaport and how it can revive the economy of Igbo. That means if that place is being dredged, we know and we believe that Nnewi and Onitsha and Owerri will turn to be the Dubai in this country. And I think another issue that we really need to look at is the issue of another potential seaport we have in Azumiri, in Okwa East local government area. And Azumiri is a nice potential seaport, only 30 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. And we have another one at Okwa West, also in Abia State, and that one is Obak. Obak is just 25 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. And the location of that potential seaport is wonderful. From Azumiri getting to Aba is not more than 20 minutes drive. So imagine if Aba people, if Aba businessmen can access a seaport within 20 minutes. You can imagine how Aba will look like. So what we are talking about today in Igbo is the need for functional seaports. Obviously, we have discovered that the economic destiny, that economic growth of Igbo lies in maritime business. So it's very, very important. Again, we have another potential seaport at Akwa Ibom, Ibaka. Ibaka is just 30 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. We have at Calabar. Calabar Sea is 45 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. We have two in River State. One is 45 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean, while that of Bonne is 50 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. So there is a need for Igbo, for all the political stakeholders, all our governors, all our senators to come together and take up this responsibility so that we can have a functional seaport within Igbo for economic development. And another thing that is very, very important is the issue of a model railway. Because obviously when you talk about business, you talk about transportation, and you cannot talk about transportation without the three prominent means of transportation, and that is through the land, sea, and also air. And that is why we are talking about the need for Igbo to have a model railway. Recently, they have connected that of Lagos, Ibadan, Kano, and Kaduna, and they abandoned the one in Southeast here. They abandoned the one that in Igbo land it is a orchestrated conspiracy against our economic development. So what we are talking about, part of the things that can, develop Igbo is the need for a modern railway within Igbo. Another thing, number 3, that is very, very important is the need for functional international airports. We need it because we have discovered that in terms of business, Igbo constitutes 75% of business-oriented people in this country. And today you can see what is happening in Lagos. Igbo, there we have the 2 best markets in Lagos. It was built by the Igbo people. The Lagos Plaza market is built by the Igbos, and you can see that the Igbo people, they are doing well in business. So it is not proper that within Igbo that we don't have a modern railway, and this modern railway is very, very important for means of transportation. Today, people find it very, very difficult to transport their goods from Lagos to the to east here through the road, and the Benin Express road is so bad. It's so bad, and you can see a lot of accidents happening in that road. It's very, very dangerous. So, but if we can have a railway, it can be very, very easy to transport all these goods or all these containers. Then another thing that is very, very important is the issue of national electricity grid. We have discovered that it is practically impossible for any company or industry to survive in Igbo land. So we discovered that in Igbo, we are cut off from national electricity grid. So what we are asking the federal government, what we are asking our leaders is to come together and discuss about these issues. Let Igbo be connected to national electricity grid so that company and industry can survive in Igbo land. Again, is the issue of the federal road. They abandoned the federal road almost 30 years today. The road that leads from Otuocha, Mianta, Kogi to Abuja, and that road is just only 3 hours drive. And you can imagine the economic impact of that road if they construct that road. So we are calling the federal government, we are calling all the governors within Igbo to make sure that they start that project immediately. It is very, very important. Another issue is the issue of an industrial gas pipeline. We are aware that it is in Igbo land that we have the highest depositor of gas to Nigeria government. So we are calling upon Nigeria government the need for industrial gas pipeline within Igbo. Is very, very important. Again, we have discovered that the Department of Chemical Engineering at the University of Nigeria in Soka, that department was shut down, I think, after Nigeria-Biafra Civil War. And we are aware that after the war, the federal government introduced a trade policy. And that trade policy is the 3R, known as a 3R, the rehabilitation, reconstruction, and the reconstruction. So today, I think we know that that policy is not implemented today. So we are calling the federal government of Nigeria to make sure that that policy, let them implement that policy in that department, so that they can reopen that department. That department was the best department in West Africa and among the 10 best departments in the world, rated in 1969. So what we're asking the federal government is to make sure that all these things is something that can bring peace. All these things is what can bring unity in Nigeria. Because people that are talking about the unity of Nigeria is not a verbal something. It is giving it a practical approach. And the practical approach to peace and unity in this country is to make sure that any form of marginalization is being dealt with. So what we are talking about today is the economic revolution in Igbo land. We are talking about economic emancipation. It's very, very important. We need all these things. Because today we are aware that we have over more than 20 million Igbo youth that are unemployed. And they are graduates. They are not working. So Ohanaeze Youth Council, we believe that if all these things is being put in place, it will help in the issue of unemployment within Igbo. So that is what we are talking about today. And another important issue I want to hint is about the issue of so many pro-Biafra group within Igbo. I think it is in the act of Article 1 and 20. Cap A9 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria that are talking about self-determination. So, and we believe that if group of people say that they are not comfortable with what is happening in their country, I think federal government need to call these people and ask them what do they want. Because whatever that they are doing that are within the framework of the Constitution of Nigeria should be accepted and should be allowed. So we don't want all this intimidation of any pro-Biafran group within Igbo. They are exercising their fundamental human rights of self-determination. So we are calling up the federal government, we are calling up the National Assembly to look into this thing critically so that we can have peace in our country. We need peace and also we need unity. But our leader must make sure that those things that can bring unity in Nigeria, they will start implementing those things. And one of those things is the number one thing that I have stated here, the issue of functional seaport in Igbo land, the issue of international airports, the issue of modern railway, the issue of connecting Igbo to national electricity grid, the issue of industrial gas pipeline within Igbo, the issue of constructing the federal road that leads to Otuocha, Miat, and by a station to Abuja that only 3 hours drive. So these are things that Ohanaeze Youth Council, we believe that if our leader will do all these things, that means there will be peace and unity in this country. So, and I advise all the Igbo youth to be law-abiding so that we can achieve all this goal. Thank you and God bless you.